I love seeing you smile, my sweetheart. Hi, everyone. So this is Denis and Christiani, and we are um, experimenting with the Kapha dosha, how to pacify the Kapha dosha. So far, we did a little play of sorts just to bring the understanding of the Kapha's qualities and what it takes to come back to balance. And then we did a little bit of asana practice to support that as well. Then we did a little restorative, meditative type of practice. And now we just want to have a bit of a discussion. So I thought that the yamas would be amazing, or in particular, the fifth yama, parigra, to bring up the challenges of the kapha dosha and how to overcome that. So can you just kind of give us a basic overview as to what the yamas are and what a parigra is?
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, the eight-limb path of yoga, which most people associate with yoga postures, which is asana, is the third of the eight. Before that comes the yamas and niyamas. And the yamas are things to restraints, is one way to talk about them. And so a parigraha is really about non-possessiveness or non-attachment. Non-grasping is another way to say it. And I'm not terribly familiar about how that relates to kapha. I know for my tendencies of vata, there's also attachments, right? And the mind is constantly moving and measuring and debating and things like that. But so let's talk
Okay.
about kapha
Yeah.
as it relates to non-grasping.
So you bring up vata and vata's tendency to be moving in the mind. Yes, and it's subtle. It's subtle. Kapha, because of the earth and the water element, its tendency to
Collect
grasp, to collect,
and to hoard.
is weighs a lot more. Weighs a lot more.
Okay.
Not that one is better than the other, absolutely not. But when it comes to the tendency of holding, it's really more of a kapha dosha
Okay.
issue.
Understood.
The vata is more like the wind or the clouds. Yes, you get distracted, but it will pass. But then the next distraction comes, is where the kapha is seeing it and says, oh no, this belongs here, let me hold on. And it may see something else, this belongs here, let me hold on. And next thing you see, it's immobile because it's holding on to so much.
Okay. So you could say it's like hoarding,
Yes,
as opposed to
hoarding is
like
very typical.
Zen, Marie Kondo style,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So so holding, I guess, freedom is allowing the moment to emerge as it is, and not wanting things to be different. And so it's difficult for us to experience if we have attachments. It's difficult for us to experience the moment. Example, when we meet someone that we have some preconceived idea about, we may hold them in this box that we have, expecting some type of outcome when in fact they may have had some transformative experience and be a completely new person. And so that's an example of not being attached to past and experiencing the moment as it unfolds.
The ease that would bring to all relationships, to meet someone as new for the first time and look at them in the eye and say, what is this moment about for us?
Yeah, and relinquishing our own ideas about ourselves, our limitations, um, embracing the idea of possibilities are limitless, that our thoughts about ourselves and others may be the only constraints that we have to experiencing the fullness of life and our potential.
And so if we can just move beyond the thought and bring that sense of wonder, say, what can this moment be like? It will open up to so much more.
And another example I'd give is letting other people be right. I think
Letting others
we
be
talk
right. Yeah.
a little bit about, when someone wins, it means there's someone else is losing. So the possibility of allowing and deferring to others and their ideas, listening attentively, and coming to understand other ideas, other possibilities, rather than our own, firm resolve. May
Yeah.
it be spiritual, political, whatever. Embracing other ideas.
Right. When we let the other win, like our little Minwi with his with his genius capacities for playing chess, and then this is our 7-year-old grandson, and he lets anyone who's playing with him win, so that they can have the joy and the enthusiasm for this practice that he loves so much, which is chess playing. And in doing that, he has he wins because he has the happiness, the joy of seeing their opponent having a good time with the practice, and they have a good time because they're encouraged to continue to
Right.
practice.
Right.
And how do we do that in our daily lives when the ego is so quick to say, but let me correct that, we got to correct that, right? There's always this impulse to correct. It's great to acknowledge the impulse to correct and to also step back and say, and what can I learn here? Even if it's just 1% of what the other person could learn, right? What can I learn here? What can I receive from this? This is a practice that I have maintained for a very long time.
In
And
this world right now where tribalism is such an issue, right? Where anybody who doesn't agree with our ideas is demonized. There's a chant that I observed. I don't know the tune right now, but I'll say the words are,
okay.
the names are many, but God is one. And, the paths are many, but the truth is one. Love your neighbor as yourself.
It's so simple. And yet, for some reason, it's become so foreign to our natural tendencies. And so back to aparigraha, right? To access this simplicity, this integration, we need to have space. Like we were making the fire yesterday, right? We need space to keep that transformation, that purification, that clarification going.
Right.
And so we have the willingness, or we have maintained the practice of each day letting go of a little something, even if not forever, but just a little something, letting go.
Taking time for quiet, meditation, spending time in nature,
Yeah,
all things that create space.
yeah. Without a doubt, our relationship is incredibly nourishing because from the very beginning we have made such a practice of taking quiet time when together, honoring our quiet times apart. And nature is the place that we turn to instantly be able to access that. And when we can't access it in nature because it's Eskimo land mode, then we just, take the time on in other ways on our mats. I mean, we maintain our meditation practice is the first thing that we do every day, and I know that that's a really important routine we've had for, you know, I mean, I had for about 10 years before I met you, and you did too, and now it's been 20 some more, you right? 13 more years together, so a really long time. And yet, for me, meditation, it was a decade of wanting to have the experience and not allowing myself to have the experience for all the various reasons that the mind moved too fast, and it did. The distractions were many, and they were, and there was always something that felt was more important and more honorable to do at that time with my time than just to sit there and do nothing. But little by little, not little by, actually, it took some time to actually step in to it, to make the decision, which I said, no matter what, every day I'm going to spend 20 minutes here sitting in quiet, no matter what. And that's when things took off for me, and that was the year 2000. So, yeah. What about for you? What was your beginning of meditation like?
Oh, for many years I was in a self-awareness group, and I struggled. I thought that I was not capable of meditation, so
Yeah,
I
you
kind
and
of
I
gave
both
up
had
on
the
it.
same. That's right.
And then I got some insight from someone. I read Michael Singer's book,
Uh-huh, yes. What was
The
that first?
Untethered Soul,
Untethered soul. Yeah.
and it just it caused me to observe the mind as a narrator, constantly trying to chime in, and just recognizing that that was okay. That was, that was what its job is to do. And, the source of suffering, according to the Upanishads, is the desire and aversion, right? And so wanting things to be different or wanting to block things out of the way is all a source of suffering. And so the practice of meditation is just being with what you are. And as things come up, you observe them and you let them go. And, sometimes a meditation is just observing one breath, inhalation and exhalation. And then the mind races to try to capture something, and then you do the next breath.
And so the desires and the aversions, that's a perfect example of the practice of aparigraha, of releasing the attachments. Because as humans, we're always going to have desires and aversions. I mean, unless we're some very incredibly evolved soul that can really step out of that, we're always going to have it, and I embrace them completely. I appreciate my desires and my aversions, and yet the recognition of the practice of aparigraha in particular is knowing when just to take a step back, one step back of the desires and aversions, so that we're we're not imprisoned by them. We're not consumed by them. We recognize the role they play, how enticing both are in their own unique ways, but there's a little bit of separation. We step into that edge that allows us to see more. Yeah. So that's, I mean, a parigraph for me personally is really that dance. I really, really want this. I really don't want this. And then going, okay, can I just soften those just a little, just a little, just for today, just for right now, just for this moment.
Beautiful.
So far, so good. Any more words for now?
Let's see. This sun is supposed to shine today, but right now there are clouds here.
Yeah.
So just enjoying the moment.
Yeah. Not attached to coming sun or not. Just so much gratitude. Yeah. And this recognition that the role that gratitude, the appreciation for what is, plays in our ability to let go of the grip.
Gratitude.
That
Yes.
really is it. If I can just appreciate something in this moment now, those likes and dislikes become less. And where my attention goes, my awareness goes. And so it is. All right.
Namaste.